be like this. Woo! I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. I do. Welcome to the chat room, Wildcat, Corey Barney, aka The Ghost, Dave the Raid. Just got him and that dad burn. I'm telling you, if you get on that dadgum raid machine, that thing that you ride over there, right here at Spreaker.com, and DJ Tony Sanchez, who will be coming up tonight after Brenda White goes off at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can catch DJ Tony Sanchez right here in the eye of the storm at 1 o'clock in the morning, okay? Right here at Spreaker.com. And now, let's go to FREDA PAYNE one more time. This is Deeper and Deeper. And then next, coming up on the line, the next voice you hear with mine will be the incomparable FREDA PAYNE. FREDA PAYNE, I'm so excited. Welcome to Up All Night with Brenda White. All right. Woohoo! Calm yourselves down, chat room, studio audience. I know. I love her too. Welcome to the chat room, my sister Najo. Woohoo! Yes, I know. Y'all calm yourselves down. All that hooping and hollering. As promised, on the line, I have actress, international recording artist, mother, woman, activist, FREDA PAYNE. How you doing, baby?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing just fine out here in Southern California.
In sunny California. Brenda Lee Ager told me to send you some love.
Oh, I love Brenda. I send the love right back because I love Brenda Lee Egger.
That's what she said too. And you know, she has she's in concert out there in California with you too. And she said that your friend Gladys Knight came to see her last week, and Natalie Cole.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow. Was it at Agape? Where was the concert held?
I do not know. And it could have been Agape, but I think she was just in concert by herself. You know, she is really coming back in such a beautiful, strong way, just like all the old school. Y'all are so bad.
That's nice. I wish I could have been there.
I'm gonna text you her phone number so you guys can get in touch and you can go.
Okay, I would love to reunite, hook back up with Brenda.
Yes,
Lee Egger,
because she's in concert, I think, every night. And last year she was in. You know, she has her play out. The Grace, the Brenda Lee Egger story. So she sent me a message right away and said, "Tell her I love her." And of course, that's what all the men in the chat room are saying too. Tell her I love her.
I love them all back.
All right, Freda, let's get to it, baby. Your mother had you in classical piano lessons at the age of 5?
Yeah, she started me out with piano, and I was about 5 years old.
And you were too shy to sing anywhere?
I was very shy. I was painfully shy up until, I guess, about 12 or 13.
And so how old was your sister Sherry?
Oh, Sherry was very outgoing. Sherry was the one that was always, like my mother's friends or relatives would come over. Sherry would come out and sing and dance, and she was the more, the gregarious one who she was the show off, and I was the one who was the painfully shy one.
And I read that she was with the Supremes.
Oh yeah, Sherry joined the Supremes. She replaced Jean Terrell back in 1974.
Wow. I did not know that, Brenda. You know, it's been about a year and a half since, I'm calling you Brenda.
I heard that, but I didn't want to say
Okay, me and Brenda Lee Egger can get on the phone, girl, and just cannot stop talking. But Freda, it's been about a year and a half since we talked, and I did not remember that at all, that your sister was with the Supremes. But let's get to you. Biggest hit you ever had, Band of Gold and Bring the Boys Home.
Right, those were gold records.
Gold records. And y'all, what you might not know is that as much as we love Bring the Boys Home, Freda never got to perform for the troops.
No, that's right.
You never got to perform that for the troops. And tell us why, Freda.
Because it was politically incorrect. And I'll tell you the strangest thing. I did several performances in Washington, D.C. at the convention hall, and this was back in the late 90s, and I was performing for the United States Air Force with the Air Force Jazz Band, and on another separate occasion, I performed with the United States Air Force Symphony Orchestra.
Wow.
And every time, and they were like, they would say, well, whatever songs you want to do, we'll do the arrangements, and for you, especially with the symphony, we'll do strings, we'll do the arrangements for you in strings. And I said, fine. And I said, well, of course we have to, Bring the Boys Home as a must.
Yes.
And they said yes, and I named some other standards, and I said, and Bring the Boys Home. They said, oh, well, we'll have to skip that one.
What?
I swear to God.
In the 90s, Freda?
Where I swear to you, it was sort of like that could not be included on my list of songs.
They still boycotting you.
Well, yeah.
Over that song.
Right.
That is amazing.
And at that time, this had nothing to do with partisan, what party, whether you're Democrat or Republican.
No.
Because it's with the armed services.
Yes, you undermine.
Bring the boys home.
Yeah, you undermine their brainwashing of the troops. Because you got to be.
It's an anti-war.
That's right.
Movement.
You got to be brainwashed just a little bit to go. They have to indoctrinate you just a little bit to get you to go fight and die.
Right.
And Vietnam was such a controversial war.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that must have broken your heart never to get to perform before the troops.
Kind of, because in my early years, like when I was like in my teens back in Detroit, I used to go down and sing at the USO.
Wow.
I used to sing, go and perform for the USO. And of course, like I said, I've done some singing for the troops. Mm-hmm. But I would never be able to perform Bring the Boys Home.
Wow. And I know they would have loved it. And that's right, you are Detroit born.
Yes, I
am. And Barry Gordy wanted you, and Duke Ellington tried to sign you to a 10-year contract when you were 17.
When I was 17.
And your mother said,
No, it was like, when it gets down to it, it was just, I was too young, I think, and that would have been me on the road with all those men.
Yeah, I think.
Those old men, my mother would have had to be, travel on the road with me, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, what did your mom and dad do, Freda?
Well, my mother was a city clerk. She worked for the city, and then my father, Fred Payne. My mother was a divorcee. She divorced my father when I was 3 and a half.
Oh, really?
Worked for Ford Motor Company, but my mother remarried when I was 6. Mm-hmm. Sam Farley, and at that time he worked for the police department. He was a deputy sheriff. Mm-hmm. And then they both pooled their monies together in the 50s, and they bought a bar. Mm-hmm. So they had a bar business in Detroit for 45 years.
Wow. And you worked and toured with Quincy Jones and Bob Crosby. How old were you then when you started working with Quincy?
Well, I was like about 19, 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you were old enough, your mom had to kind of let you go at that point?
Oh, I was out of the house by then.
Yes.
I left Detroit when I was 18 because I graduated from high school when I was 16. Mm-hmm. And then I went on to New York when I was 18. I was on my own.
How did your mom feel about you being an artist?
Well, at first she wasn't that sure. She had kind of heard, people back then, they kind of thought show business was the devil's,
Oh, yeah.
Ass women and all that.
And not only that, but you lived right there in Detroit. And now let me ask you this: Did the incidents was Tammy Terrell older than you? Did your mom know of those incidents with her and the beatings from James Brown and David Ruffin, or were you all about the same age?
Probably. I don't know. I really don't know. I remember going to see Tammy in Detroit at a club called the 20 Grand, and anybody back in the day would remember the 20 Grand because that was the. Mm-hmm. And so I remember going to see her, and also I remember that night that I went to see her. The Supremes, they were in the audience, and Diana. This was in the 60s. And I remember them being there with Florence. That was when Florence Ballard was in the group.
Yeah.
Barry Wilson and Diana Ross. They were sitting at the next table.
Freda, I did not know that Tammy Terrell was abused like that.
Well, you know what? I didn't know about it either until we just started hearing about it.
When I found out about it just a couple of months ago, I love TV's Unsung.
Right.
And that's when I found out that James Brown and David Ruffin used to beat the snot out of her.
Well, yeah, I mean, all that, especially on that show, that program on TV One called Unsung.
Yeah, that's where I found out.
I heard about it. Mm-hmm. I heard about it. I mean, I didn't hear about it back then.
Yeah, right.
Because I wasn't into that. I wasn't into listening to gossip or trying to find out about anybody.
Yeah.
But I heard about that, a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I watched Unsung, it was like they went into it in depth.
Yeah.
And it was like it was sad. It was very sad.
It was very sad.
And what really was sad is that had she not died, or had she, not been ill, like the brain tumor.
Right.
I don't know what would have happened in history, because I don't know whether Diana Ross would have emerged.
Yeah.
Because she was so strong. I mean, she had a beautiful voice.
Yes, she did.
And she was pretty.
And everything she touched turned to gold.
And so she had it. going on. So, you know what I mean? It was sort of